Welcome to Road to the Super Bowl presented by Ford. I'm team reporter Casey Phillips, and happy Super Bowl week. Now, you know, with your Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, and they're doing it right here in our own backyard, first team to ever play in their own home stadium, we had to put together a show to celebrate. So earlier, I talked to current players, former players, celebrities, and more. To kick things off, you know him from Good Morning Football, but now he's also your official Buccaneers hype man, Kyle Brandt. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to get to talk to someone who obviously, based on the attire, is part of the Bucs bandwagon group out there rooting for him. So tell me, what do you love about the Bucs? Why are you one of the people that has hopped on this awesome bandwagon going to the Super Bowl?
Casey, are you looking at this jacket? Are you out of your mind? I mean, you have to ask. This is my guy, Bucko Bruce, the only man in the world who winks while he has a knife in his mouth. Now, that is a logo, and I know it's from years past, and this is about the present and the future, but I got this jacket when I visited your home stadium there a year ago, and it was December, and the season was winding down, and it wasn't pretty, I'll be honest. It was a great atmosphere, but the fans were not happy. They were not satisfied. And a year later, you're just moonwalking into the Super Bowl in the same stadium. It's really exciting. I feel like it's not just NFL history. It's sort of like almost American history. So to even just be one small little creamsicle part of it is awesome.
I love that. And yeah, I mean, you've been to the stadium, like you said. Yeah. What do you love about the fact that the Bucs and Raymond James Stadium get to be the ones to have the first Super Bowl to host its home team?
Well, listen, if it was going to be somewhere, there's great stadiums in this amazing league. We got, Lambeau and Soldier Field, and I mean, they're all great. None of those places or any others that I didn't mention have a pirate ship in the stadium. I've been to them. I can confirm. Help me out with this, Casey. So I know that they're playing on their home stadium, but they're not supposed to be a de facto home team. So I understand there won't be biased cannon firing in favor of the Bucs, but does that mean there can be nonpartisan cannon firing during the game? What's the deal?
That's what we're rooting for. Okay. It's sad that we are not the ones that are given the button.
Yeah.
I wish I was the one in charge of the button. In fact, I'd love for you to be the one in charge of the button, any of that. I feel like that's the greatest job in the history of the world. But yeah, it's sad that they're tying our hands. It's not very pirate mentality that we're going to have to play nice.
Okay.
But I'm sure there will be some cannon fire in there somewhere.
We'll find out, because I have fired the cannons. I had the thrill last year of being invited, I guess, on board, and I got to fire the cannons. And if anybody has never seen it, you Bucs fans or diehards, maybe you've seen this, but if you haven't, you open up this thing and there's not just a cannon button. There's an array of buttons for whatever the occasion calls for. Like, for example, if the Bucs kick a field goal, they don't just unleash hell and fire all the cannons. There's minimal, like there's starter cannons. And then, if you get a touchdown, there's more. And then if it's like a game-winning touchdown or something crazy, my favorite part of the cannon panel on board the ship is that the one button that just unleashes everything, there's no mistaking what it is, because they're all labeled, and the big button is just labeled dead man. And you're like, I want to press the dead man button. And I did get to, and boy, when you press that dead man button, the mountains crumble from the sky and the bay boils and they just hit you with everything they got. So maybe it's going to be at the end of the game. You know, maybe once the game is over, if the Bucs win, they'll be like, all right, it's over, fair and square. Hit the dead man and just ride it. That's what I'm hoping for.
I completely agree. And obviously you got the gear, you've pushed the cannon button, you're officially part of the family. And I think the final thing that really solidified that was that guys like Rojo and Vita have made a pretty big deal about being on angry runs. So I would love to hear what it was like for you to see those epic photo shoots and how excited they were to be getting an award from you.
Well, I'll show you, first of all, because right here, I got the scepter. I have a home scepter. I don't think I just give them out to Vita and Devin and Rojo. I keep one for myself. If nobody knows what the hell Casey and I are talking about, I do a segment of Good Morning Football called Angry Runs, and you pick out whatever ball carrier was the most ferocious, whoever ran over somebody, stiff arm somebody, and then we actually send them a scepter, and you can see the color changes on this scepter, and then depending on the team and the player, they get it and they will send a picture back. Now I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you, Casey. I have sent scepters and crowns over the years to almost every team in the league, probably 25, 26 of the 32. Nobody does it like Tampa. Nobody sends back cooler pictures, full professional quality photo shoots. It's a whole production you guys do down there. And I will say that also Tampa is the only team, the Buccaneers, that had 3 winners this year. There was a couple Titans that won it, and then there's a couple Lions, surprisingly, and the Ravens are always really good too. But we had Ronald Jones, 2 defensive players, Devin White and Vita Vea, won it back-to-back in the playoffs. They all sent scepters. The word got back to me that Devin White wanted to do his on horseback, equestrian angry runs, but was not allowed because of protocols. But I just want to say thank you, to Jill who works there, to everyone who masterminds these things, because it's very easy to just have the player take a picture on his phone and say, haha, cool scepter. You guys go full production value, and I don't think it's a coincidence you're in the Super Bowl.
I would love to think that anything about our production value has anything to do with why the team is getting to the Super Bowl. I'm totally on board with that explanation, 1000%. But yes, we love the scepter. We love how excited you get about what these guys are doing. It's incredible. So now you're not a guy that is known for, subdued reactions to things. This is what we love about you. So now I got to hear, what are the storylines that get you fired up as a fan for this game? That someone that just gets to watch this game and enjoy it. What are the things you're excited about?
All right. Well, obviously Mahomes and Brady, but a specific part of it. I've been doing some thinking about this, and there's all this hype on both quarterbacks, and it's fun because there's one faction that says, well, how do you bet against Brady in this game? And then the other one's like, well, hold on, how do you bet against Mahomes? They're both rocking the hard place. But here's where I come out. Patrick Mahomes, I don't think any player, maybe any athlete, has ever had a brighter future, and no one you want to invest in more. He's going to be around for years. However, in order for him to accomplish the same career that Brady's had, to be in the same rare air, I've done the math. As much as we love Patrick Mahomes, do we honestly, realistically think that he is going to be the starting quarterback in Super Bowl 73? Because that's what he would have to do to tie Brady. That's 18 years from now. We're at 55 now. If he's starting in 73, which is 18 years from now, which is kind of the same thing that Brady's done, going all the way from his to 50, then we can talk. He may win it every year between that, but until, again, and that is in the year 2039, when we're playing with like space footballs and holograms and everything, and they're playing the thing on the moon, then we can talk. Until then, it's Brady. He's the one. He's the guy. But damn, Mahomes is dangerous. However, Super Bowl, again, I'll say it one more time, 79 is the one he needs to be in, or 78 maybe. I don't know. The math gets hazy, but it's a long time from now.
A long, long time from now. That is true. And then how about the idea of the fact that these teams have already met once this year, and that's been the case for all but one of the Bucs playoff games at this point. So now looking back, this is something we've done every week of, okay, let's look back at those other matchups. What's going to need to be similar or different? So when you look back at that earlier game and then who these teams are now compared to then, what are the aspects of either the Chiefs roster or scheme that would worry you the most if you're the Bucs, or what are the ways that maybe they've changed and they don't have to worry about the things they had to worry about in that first matchup?
Well, it doesn't take Vince Lombardi or Bill Walsh to look at that game and be like, wow, Tyreek Hill might be a problem. It's like, that was a hell of a quarter that young man had. But here's where I come out. If those of you, I'm sure you guys are Bucs fans watching, Tyreek Hill literally had 200 yards in the first quarter of the game, which is not optimal if you're a Bucs guy. However, the take on it is actually, all right, so he went completely ballistic, and yet the Bucs almost stole the game at the end. Like it came down to one possession, and they were right there despite taking so much fire. I look at that game as the Tyreek Hill game. However, I've been saying this all week, and I talked to the Bills a week ago when they said, what should we worry about with the Chiefs? I would say the same thing to the Bucs. Kelsey. I think Travis Kelsey is their best player, and I mean that honestly. I think he right now is better at tight end even than Mahomes is at quarterback. I think he's fantastic. I looked across these rosters, Casey, and if you include Andy Reid, and maybe if things continue well, you even include Bruce Arians, I think there's anywhere between 6 and 8 Hall of Famers who are going to be on the field in this game. I mean, almost maybe 8, maybe not a ton. I think Kelsey right now is the best player. Not the greatest. I think he's the best player. He is so good. So for the love of God, somebody please stay with him. Hold him under 13 catches in the first half, and then maybe you pull this thing out.
I like that. And then now you mentioned briefly Bruce Arians, but I want to know from the outside looking in, what stamp have you seen, whether it be Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, and Todd Bowles from a coaching standpoint, or Jason Light from a front office standpoint? What stamp have these guys put on this team and their role they've played in getting them to this point?
There is probably not enough bandwidth on the entire internet for me to tell you how much I love Jason Light. Like, I really love him as a general manager, as a guy, as a Metallica fan, as a beer drinker. Like, I love Light. And we bonded a few years ago before all this Super Bowl run, back when it was just the nice, good old Buccaneers trying to make the playoffs. And we bonded over our propensity to sweat in high-stress situations. Now, that's just, it should be embarrassing for a GM or a TV personality. Screw it. We own it. We run hot. If you see Jason in the hallway, be like, Kyle was talking about how you and he sweat. And he'll be like, yeah, I'll show you right now. I'm sweating like crazy. It's one of the things we do together. We just run hot, run intensely. And that was fun. But then he decided to say, I'm going to change the entire course of this organization and the entire course of the NFL and put together a super team. I think you probably know this, Casey. Super teams don't work. It's not a thing. You need chemistry. It needs time to build. No, you don't need anything. He put this team together and never said, I think Brady's enough. All right, I think Gronk's enough. I think Fournette's. I think Antonio's. He just kept going. And I respect it. And here he is in the Super Bowl. So, look, BA is fantastic. And Byron and Bowles, they've all gotten their due course and their due love, and they deserve it. I love Jason Light. I think he's the GM of the decade. Tell him I said that.
I will, absolutely. And now we know the true story behind this Bucco Bruce jacket. It's holding all the sweat in, right?
Oh my gosh. It's World War III under there. You don't want to see it. It's terrible. This is why Bucco Bruce helps me out.
I love it. And you're going to be sweating on game day, I imagine, just waiting to see the Bucs get in there and win that championship. Well, thank you so much, Kyle, for your time. This has been awesome. And we are very happy to have you as part of the Buccaneers official cannon firing family.
Thrilled to be here. Let's hope they hit that dead man on Super Bowl Sunday, Casey.
You know, it's just so sad that Kyle doesn't get more excited about things. But you know who could give him a run for his money on being hype right now? All of Tampa Bay. Because again, not only are your Bucs in the Super Bowl, and it's here in Tampa, but the Rays went to the World Series and the Lightning won the Stanley Cup. So I caught up with a couple guys that are helping Tampa get the reputation of being the new title town. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And man, between you guys and the Bucs, there has been a lot of winning happening here. All over Tampa. And I just want to know for you guys what it's been like to watch all of this success for your fellow teams in the city of Tampa. Alex, I can go and start with you.
It's been great. I mean, I think for us, we were kind of the first team to get going on a run. We obviously won in the Stanley Cup finals. And then watching the Rays, watching Kevin and the team, we're so proud of those guys for everything they accomplished throughout the playoffs. And now it's the Bucs' turn. So it seems like there's either something in the water or something in the city. Things seem to be going really well for everyone in the city. We're happy for everyone. I always say it's, you know, Tampa's a big city, but it does feel like a small town in a lot of senses. And you can tell by the way guys are getting behind teams and the camaraderie between athletes. It's been great. And I know everyone's looking forward to Sunday when the Bucs play the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kevin, how about you? What's it been like watching the Lightning go ahead of you guys and the success you all had, and then watching the Bucs behind you?
Oh, it's been incredible. The first part that I remember about all of that was the 5 OT game that the Lightning had. We were in Boston playing the Red Sox that day, and I remember just going up in between every inning to see if the game was over. And I swear that game lasted 6 or 7 hours. It felt like incredible, but that got the juices flowing, and then they made the run that they did. Incredible to watch. You knew that they had the talent to win it, and they've come up short a couple times in years past, but they gave themselves a chance to win it. And finally, this year they did everything the right way to bring the cup home. I missed the boat parade. I was super upset about that. I wanted to try to have a parade of our own with the Rays, but we came up short. But once again, if we're the outcast and if the Bucs finish this off the right way on Sunday, we can't change our outcome now. So I'll gladly, the Rays will gladly be the outcast of the team not to win it, because we want the Bucs to do it. And, we just got to step our game up heading into next year for the Rays.
Yeah, and I think that making a World Series can hardly be considered an outcast situation. But yeah, the Tampa teams, everybody's setting the bar so high for each other here. And I wanted to hear what you guys thought when you heard that Tom Brady and Gronk were going to be coming down to Tampa and joining the Buccaneers. Kevin, how about you?
I was in complete shock. It caught me off guard, and it's one of those things where you just couldn't. The GOAT was coming to Tampa, and to be a part of one of the pro sports team here after everything this whole year has been amazing. But even before all this started, and Tom Brady decided to come here, how do you not get excited about that? No matter what team you're on or who you're affiliated with, if you're live here in the city of Tampa or in the region, it's just you got the greatest player ever suiting up for you. They're in the Super Bowl. The guy just does it time and time again. It's absolutely incredible, and definitely be telling my grandkids about him one day.
That's awesome. Alex, how about you?
Yeah, well, for me, I had gone to school in Massachusetts for 6 years, so the New England Patriots were really my team. Tom Brady was the guy, the winning quarterback and everything. I looked up to him so much, and leading up to his free agency or where he was going to go, no one really picked Tampa to be a landing spot for him, and we all watched the shows and we all hoped that he would end up here. And when he finally ended up here, it was a great feeling. And then Gronk followed. For me, he was always my quarterback, the guy I rooted for. Now he's down in Tampa, the team in the city I play for. So I've also spent some time with Gronk, and really good guy. So I'm really hoping the most for this team.
And, I'd love to know what it's like leading up to a championship game. What's going through your mind, that this is something you guys have both experienced really recently. So Alex, why don't you start? Just the things that go through your mind that are probably going through a lot of the Buccaneers players' minds right now before the Super Bowl.
Well, I think Kevin knows it, and obviously Tom Brady and Gronk and those guys know it. But leading up to a Super Bowl, there's so many distractions, with the media, the Super Bowl even more so than the MLB and NHL playoffs. But there's so many distractions with family members who want tickets, media requests. There's the Super Bowl performances. All eyes are on you. I would say for those guys, I mean, they know what they're doing, but just block out those distractions, focus on the game. What brought you to this point, and just rely on that.
Yeah. And Kevin, how about you?
Well said, Killer. Well said. I agree with everything he said, and I'll touch base on what I think their thoughts are. Is I bet they're nervous, excited, anxious, just ready to get on that field and hit somebody. Just get that adrenaline. Even, I think about our time leading up to the World Series and taking batting practice and running around out there, and you get butterflies and just thinking about, okay, this is the calm before the storm type of thing. You get so excited like that, and you get that adrenaline even when the game hasn't even started. So I know when those guys are going out there each and every day, they're ready to go, and they want to hit someone else rather than their teammates. I know everything's light right now, but you just have to calm those nerves and appreciate the moment that you're in, because these days leading up to all this are very fun too. Tom Brady has done it well more than anyone else out there. He's very used to it. He's going to get those guys cool, calm, collected on Sunday. I'm excited too. I wish I could buckle up a chin strap with them and head out there with them, but they're going to put on a show, and it's going to be fun for all of us to watch.
I like that. And what advice would you have for guys, or maybe even what do you wish you had known before your first appearance in a championship game? Kevin, you want to go first?
Oh, I got asked last week if I wanted to give before the Bucs played the Packers, I had a Rays PR employee asked me if I wanted to give advice to Tom Brady and the Bucs, and I said I'm going to gladly decline that because there is no reason why I need to give those guys any advice whatsoever. I'm going to stay in my lane. But I don't know. I think it's just one of those things for me being in the World Series for the first time. I was excited to see how I responded from a personal standpoint, obviously doing what I can to help the team. But I was, looking forward to testing myself and see how I played on the biggest stage and see if I didn't let the moment get the best of me. And I think for the Bucs, if they, do everything that they've done up until this point, take it in Sunday, they should be fine. But you don't need to press or put any type of pressure on you whatsoever. Just go out there, play your game, and everything else will take care of itself.
Alex, how about you?
Yeah, I don't know about too much advice. I think you're kind of well prepared for these moments because typically when you get into these big moments, there's always, when it's your first time at least, there's always veterans in the locker room that have been through it before. And I'm sure Tom Brady's going to be in the locker room kind of helping guys get ready for the game. And that's a huge part of it, just because there's a lot of young guys, especially guys in the Bucs team that have never been in this situation. So when you have a calming presence like a Tom Brady, a guy who you just know all you have to do is follow this guy, things are going to be good. So I don't really have too much advice in that sense.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And of course, on behalf of all of Tampa, thank you guys for all of the fun you have provided for all of us in a tough year and for all the hard work that went into your seasons as well. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
It really is such an incredible time to be a Tampa Bay fan. And now we have a message from maybe the biggest fan of the city of Tampa out there.
I'm Mayor Jane Castor, and I couldn't be prouder of what our city has accomplished in this challenging year. Through it all, we've remained one team, and that's Team Tampa Bay, heading into a historic Super Bowl where our hometown Bucs are the first ever to play the big game in their home stadium. It's time to reflect on all the successes of our hometown teams this year and how together we've turned Tampa Bay into Titletown. Now let's go finish the job. Go Bucs!
Thank you so much, Mayor Castor. And now let's dive into this matchup and start breaking down the game a little bit. In week 5, Vita Vea got injured and we thought his season was over, but then this team just kept winning and giving him a chance to finally return for some of the most important games of his life. Vita, thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
I can't even imagine the emotions that go into making a Super Bowl in general, much less for you coming off an injury so quickly with it. So what did it feel like in the moments that the clock hit 0 and you realized that not only was the team going to the Super Bowl, but that you were going to get to be a part of it?
Honestly, it still doesn't seem real to me right now. Like I feel like it still hasn't hit me. But I think we were all on the bench just calling out the plays the whole time. We were just like, we get a first down, we're going. We get a first down, we're going to Super Bowl. And it was just like, I felt like it just kept like getting closer and closer. And then once Chris Godwin got the first down, we were like, everyone started celebrating. We're going to the Super Bowl. It was just really crazy.
That's incredible.
And, like, just seeing everyone's excitement, it was just, like the next day I woke up, I was like, damn, I wish I could relive what we went through yesterday.
I can imagine. And you said, though, that it hasn't quite hit you yet. When do you think it will hit you? Do you think there's going to be a moment that you realize it's real?
I'm not sure yet. It's weird because you just, like when you really sit back and think about it, it's like not only Tampa's watching, not only Kansas City's watching, but it's like the whole world watching, and it's just like you grow up watching and Super Bowl's on, you just everything comes to whole, and everyone's just watching it. It's like Super Bowl parties everywhere, watch parties everywhere, just watching, and just when you really get to think about it, and like now you really sit back and you're like, dang, I'm playing the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Yeah, so like no pressure or anything, right? Like, are you?
Like this whole week at practice, it's been feeling like it just feels like another game, but it's really, I don't know, Super Bowl.
Yeah, so the preparation so far has felt the same to you?
Yep.
What has it been like to watch guys like Levante and Will make the playoffs even for the first time after being with the team for so long, and then not only just be able to make the playoffs, but go this far? For guys like that, have you gotten a sense of what it means to them and how cool it's been to watch them?
Yeah, I think it's that's what I'm really happy for. I think those type of guys on the team, you know, you got to be really happy for them because, you know, it was like the first time, you know, for Monte and Will, you know, you think about that first time making the playoffs, and then it just keep winning, and then just first time making playoffs, and now it's first time making Super Bowl, and you're playing at home, like things that, you know, no team has ever done before. And, you know, you look at those guys, you're like, dang, you guys deserve this. That's why I feel like it means a whole lot more to them than a lot of other guys, just because they've been here for so long, they've been in the league for so long, and now this is they got this opportunity. Obviously, I'm a younger guy, so I have more opportunities in years to come. So, obviously, it's still exciting to me, but for them, you know, you just got to know that it means a lot to them too as well.
Absolutely. And what do you think you're most looking forward to about the game, other than, of course, winning? That would, of course, be the obvious answer. But are there certain moments or, you know, experiences with it that you have found yourself picturing? Are you one of the guys that dreamed of the Super Bowl as a kid? You know, what kind of goes through your mind about what this experience will be like?
It's actually really just crazy because we're playing. You like run through these like scenarios in your head about the Super Bowl, but we're playing at home, so like we're used to it. Like we're used to that stadium, so it's not like we're going somewhere else to play and you're like, dang, we're over here playing the Super Bowl. So it just, I think that's why it kind of feels like a normal game to me, because we're playing at home and we're already used to, like, you know, this environment. And then I think COVID plays a lot with it as well, just because there's like a lot of restrictions and certain things leading up to the game. So
was the fact that it would be at your home stadium even more motivation for you guys and the team this year, you think?
It was crazy because the D-line, we worked out together like in the off season a couple of times, and we'd always talk about it, like, you know, the Super Bowl in Tampa this year, like we got to make it, you know, we got to do it. And I think it's a thing that every team goes through. That like last year, I'm sure like the Dolphins thought about it too. Like, oh, the Super Bowl's in Miami this year, you know, we got to make it. And I think it's something that happens every year. But I think it's mind blowing to me, knowing that we made it out of all the other teams, and we're at home.
Have you gotten any advice from guys who have been to the Super Bowl before, or is there anything that you have felt like you would want to know or ask from them?
Not really. I haven't really talked to anyone about it. But if I would, I'd probably ask Tom Brady.
It seems like that'd be a good choice. Well, thank you so much, and good luck in the game.
Thank you.
It has been so great to see the force that is Vita Vea back in that lineup and wreaking havoc. Now let's hear from senior writer and editor Scott Smith on how this Super Bowl reminds him of the last one for the Bucs franchise and what it might take to get the W. Now we have senior writer and editor Scott Smith joining us. And Scott, I know that you were a part of the last Super Bowl, so I wanted to get some context from you on how this feels similar or different, and some of the major things that you just remember from that run that is now coming to mind now as you watch this next run.
Well, I was there. I'm not sure I could say I was a part of it. Certainly not in the way a player was, but it was an extremely exciting time 18 years ago. One thing about that team is some aspects of it really peaked at the right time. Pretty much the defense was fantastic throughout, but the offense peaked at the right time. The offensive line really gelled in the playoffs, only allowed 1 sack that entire time. And that's some similarities with what you're seeing now. The Bucs offensive line is playing at its best right now when it really matters at the end, and the offense is peaking at the right time. Differences, however, that was famously the first ever Super Bowl between the top ranked offense and the top ranked defense. And if you ever wanted a exhibit A for the defense wins championship motto, that was it, because the Bucs defense absolutely dominated. One thing that is also different between this Super Bowl and the last one is the Bucs aren't playing the team that their head coach was coaching the previous year and whose offense remained virtually unchanged, to the point that your head coach could run their offense in practice before the game. And the Bucs really knew a lot of what was coming from that Raiders offense. They don't have that advantage this time around. The big matchup this time that makes it historic is this is the first time that both the first and second ranked passing offenses in the league are playing each other. It's the first time it's ever happened in the Super Bowl. So expect a lot of air yards and probably a lot of points.
That's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. And while like you said, we don't have the familiarity that Gruden may have had with the Raiders, but we do know that we have already played them this year. So there is some familiarity. What are the things that, looking back at that last matchup, you think both teams will try to adjust, and how could this matchup look different than that one?
Well, I think there's some opportunities for the Buccaneers offense against this Kansas City defense. It's a good defense. It's a very good defense. You don't make it to the Super Bowl, especially twice in a row, without a good defense. But they are very aggressive. They blitz a lot, one of the highest blitzing teams in the league. They are the top team in the league in terms of the percentage of time that their corners press against your outside receivers. And both of those things can be very good for the defense, but they can also create opportunities for the offense. And the Bucs offense, once it got out of its slow start in that Week 12 matchup, was able to do some things against this Kansas City defense. Unfortunately, the Kansas City offense was even better, particularly in the early going. So I think there's some chances there for the Bucs in this matchup, but it's not going to be easy.
What do you think are some of the biggest things that have changed about either of these teams since that matchup?
Well, for one thing, the Buccaneers aren't turning the ball over. I mean, I know that there were 3 interceptions in the second half of the NFC Championship game, but for the most part, since that game, in the other 6 games and the first half of the 7th game, the Buccaneers only turned the ball over twice, including only 1 interception by Tom Brady. When the Buccaneers were trying to make their comeback against the Chiefs in Week 12 in the second half, and they got to within 3 points, but there were 2 interceptions in the second half, and that killed 2 possibilities for the Buccaneers to get some points. So I would say that's the major difference, that and the fact that the offensive line is really playing at a high level.
All right, great stuff. As always, Scott, thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy that Super Bowl.
I will.
Now, you know we can't do a Super Bowl hype show without talking to somebody who knows how to win one. So here is my chat with Hall of Fame finalist, hopefully soon to be Hall of Famer, Ronde Barber. Well, Ronde, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure that you are as excited as a lot of these Bucs fans here to get this Super Bowl rolling, but I'm sure even more than that, you are ready to hear some news about the Hall of Fame, and I just wanted to hear what it's been like, since finding out that you made the finalist list and then knowing that the ceremony for it was going to be in Tampa. You're on the list with John Lynch, and just what this process has been like waiting till that day.
Well, the waiting is nerve-wracking. But I've said this in the past, and I'll continue to say it. Just being in the conversation is rewarding in itself, and to be a finalist for the first time this year, it adds a little bit more stress to your life. But I mean, what kind of stress is it really? I mean, you're one of 15 guys being considered to be in the Hall of Fame, and I think a lot about what Lynch has gone through the last 8 years. He's been in this position for 8 years as a finalist and is yet to make it. So it'll resolve itself. Obviously, there's 48 decision makers that have to put in votes, and I'm excited for at least one of us to get our name called this upcoming weekend at the NFL Honors Show. And, if it's not this year for me, it'll be in the future. If it's not this year for Lynch, it'll definitely be in the future. You don't become a finalist as many times as Lynch has been and not know that you're eventually going to get your name called. So look forward to it. We know two of them. We know Peyton's getting in. We know Charles Woodson's getting in. The rest of us are kind of like,
That's so true. Well, of course, everyone here in Tampa knows both of you are so deserving, and we would love for it to be for both of you here in Tampa. But you're right that if not this year, then we know it is only a matter of time. Both of you guys are so deserving. So now moving on to the actual Super Bowl game, you're someone who knows a thing or two about how to win a Super Bowl. So I wanted to hear, looking back at the Bucs team that you won it with, comparing it to this team now, what are some of the similarities and differences you see in those two squads and the things that make you look at this team and say, yeah, I think they have what it takes?
Yeah, that's a great question, because there are some similarities, particularly in the way that the teams were built. Our team was built through the draft, for 4 or 5 years, probably maybe longer, 5 or 6 years, from 95, 96, 97, 98, even into 99. Some of those guys that we drafted ended up being starters on our defense and offense for years, and accumulated in us being a good team, a good enough team to win the Super Bowl. And this team is very similar. I go back and look at the 2018-19 drafts, and even this year with Antoine Winfield Jr. and Tristan Wirfs, two key pieces that we got in this year's draft. There's key pieces along the board that have been drafted. So in that way, we're similar, and that we added some priority free agents. Obviously, this year you had Tom Brady, you had Gronk, you had AB. I mean, those are pieces that have helped us get to the Super Bowl. We did the same thing back in 2002. We had Michael Pittman, Joe Jurevicius, Keenan McCardell. All these guys came in the year that we won the Super Bowl, including our head coach. I was joking with somebody the other day. It's like John Gruden, Tom Brady. Which one has more influence on us getting and winning a Super Bowl? I was like, I don't know. But those are the similarities. The differences, though, the big difference to me, Casey, is that we were a destined team in 2002. I mean, because in 1999 we went to the NFC Championship game, and it felt like we were in a position or a good enough team, to win the Super Bowl any of those years, from 99 to even probably into the following year, 2003. Lost in the playoffs in 2000 to Philly, lost in the playoffs in 2001 to Philly. And it was like, all right, the next step is imminent. This current team, is really kind of an upstart. They're out of nowhere, and largely because of the influence of Brady and some of these other pieces. But it was a good team that just needed a really kick in the butt, and they got it from their quarterback until they're here. Now, how does that translate to a win on Sunday? We've already seen the game. We saw the end of November game against Kansas City, and Kansas City got off to a fast start. And I would go and look at the blueprint in the second half of that game. I've been telling a lot of people, because I've rewatched that game recently. We didn't necessarily lose that game as much as ran out of time, because we came back. Obviously Patrick Mahomes did some really crazy things at the end of that game to get some first downs and not give us a chance to get the ball back. But I looked at that game and was like, that could have been a win. That easily could have been a win for us. So I'm looking forward to the new matchup, the current matchup between these two.
Yeah. So what do you think that current matchup is going to look like? What are the things that are a little bit different for each of these teams, or looking back at that other game? And now that both the Bucs and the Chiefs have that blueprint from that game, what do you see as the adjustments that both sides could potentially make?
Well, I think the biggest one, the most glaring one, is that, their left tackle, Eric Fisher, is out. He got injured. And the amount of pressure that Shaq Barrett and JPP have been creating in the past month of the season, it's been ridiculous. Just the NFC Championship game, we know what Todd Bowles' defense is like. It's very exotic. It's, amoeba-like, and different people rushing the passer and coverages and whatnot. All 5 of those sacks last week were 4-man rushes, 4-man pressures, no blitzes. It was 2 dudes, 58 and 90, just whipping offensive tackles. And I think that'll be the difference in this game. Obviously, it helps that we get Vita Vea back. I thought he looked great last week. And Kansas City attempted to run the ball in the first matchup and couldn't do it. It was literally the Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill show. And I think once Tampa figured out, or we figured out that, if we give easy throws to Patrick Mahomes playing man-to-man, 10's probably going to beat us. He's been doing it to everybody all year. So I think we've learned our lesson there. So the game plan will probably be a little bit different. And there were some things that they did against Green Bay that I wholly expect to happen in this game against Kansas City on Super Bowl Sunday. So on the other side of the ball, it's just, our weapons have to show up. I mean, they're good enough. I take our one-on-one matchups, Mike, Chris Godwin, Gronk, against any defender in the league. But more importantly, Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones got to continue to show what they've been showing. This offense is much more balanced the past month, December and through the playoffs, than it was earlier in the year. I think Byron's really grown into his role. I think he's grown into his understanding of his quarterback. He needs to run the ball. He needs play action. I expect a lot of that on Sunday too.
All right. Well, great stuff. As always, thank you so much. And good luck this next weekend. We're all rooting for you here in Tampa.
Thanks, Casey.
Just like Ronde, there are a ton of legends in this Bucs organization, and some of them dropped by to leave a message for this Bucs team and fan base.
Number 99 in your program, number 1 in your heart.
Hey, Bucs, Martin Gramatica here.
Congratulations, Bucs. Derek Brooks here.
This is Monty Kiffin.
This is Brad Johnson.
Joe Jurevicius, former wide receiver on that Super Bowl 37 Buck team.
This is Q here.
Former Super Bowl MVP, Dexter Jackson.
This is your boy, Michael Pittman.
What's up, fellas? Mike Allstott here.
Take a moment, enjoy it, soak it all in, and then do us all a favor, man. Go out and win the damn game.
Having played in this game, you have an opportunity to be a legend. There's only one way to be legendary, and that's by doing legendary. So I expect you guys to go out, capture your moment, and bring us home a damn Super Bowl. Good luck, guys.
I would rather not be here than to lose. Go handle the business. Mark it for history.
What a great season, but we have one more game. Do not wake up on Monday with any regrets, guys. 60 minutes to make history.
No one in this room, players, coaches, support staff, is satisfied with just getting there. It's all about bringing home that hardware, and I know we can do it.
There's 3 sayings we used to have. Play hard, play fast, and play together. Play hard is right here in the heart. Play fast, whatever you run a 40-yard dash in, run a little bit faster today. And play together as a team. Go Bucs.
Preparation prevents a poor performance. I know you'll be prepared, so let's win another one. Live in the moment. This is something you always remember.
It's a commitment you guys have made to yourself. It's what you guys have been trying to accomplish all season long. It's about now, this year, this team, this moment, this Super Bowl. It's yours. It's yours for the rest of your life.
Let's go out and kick the Chiefs behind and bring it back home for the city of Tampa.
Childhood dreams, not only for you, but for your families, for your kids. It is life-changing. To do it in a city like Tampa is great.
Finish what you started. Punch him right in the mouth. Do your job and dominate your man. If you do that, you'll be on the ultimate stage in sports.
Play hard, but more importantly, man, have fun. Best times of your life. Enjoy it.
Bring it home. Bring it home, man. All of us old Bucs are proud of you guys, and let's do this. Go Bucs.
Make it happen, boys. We wish you the best. Go Bucs. Vamos, carajo, que hay que ganar.
Have some poise in the noise. No excuses, no explanations. I know we're going to get it done. Go Bucs. Raise those flags.
And speaking of legends, there's an NBA legend who is a massive Bucs fan. Please welcome in Tracy McGrady. All right, well, T-Mac, thanks for joining us. This is so awesome that you are part of the Buccaneers family. So tell all the Bucs fans out there how you came to be such a big fan.
Well, I grew up in Central Florida. I grew up in a small town, probably 35 miles east of Tampa in Arbondale. And of course, being from that area, you instantaneously become a fan, especially when football came there. For me, I go back to the early 80s when we had Steve DeBerg as the quarterback, and we had David Long. I mean, I go way back to the early 80s. I'm showing my age right now.
That's awesome. Well, I know you also go back to the last Super Bowl Bucs team that there were guys like Derek Brooks and Shelton Quarles that came to your charity bowling event that started the season where they won the Super Bowl. So I decided that you're good luck, and that's part of why we had to have you on this show.
Ah, that's awesome. You know what? A lot of those guys used to come make the drive from Tampa to Orlando. That's at the time I was playing for the Magic, and I used to see those guys courtside all the time. So, yeah, hopefully we can repeat that.
Yes, I like that. Well, tell me what you love about this team. We know that they've always been your team, but how about the one this year? Who are some of the players or storylines or ways this team plays that gets you most fired up?
Well, considering that, we got a lot of weapons on the offensive end. Love Jameis Winston because I am a Florida State fan, but I just thought we needed somebody that can take care of the ball and get these guys the ball and be protective of that ball in late game situations. And Tom Brady is the best at doing that. So when you have the type of weapons that we have on the offensive end, I mean, to be able to spread that ball around, it's tough for defenses to key in on that. And then what our defense showed, especially in the NFC Championship game, Tom Brady, 3 possessions in a row, 3 turnovers, but the defense came out there and held their own. So going through a bunch of bad season, disappointing season with the Bucs, being a longtime fan, being there when we were like 2-14, I'm so thrilled to be in this position right now. I have a lot of bragging rights because my mom is a Dallas Cowboys. I have a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans in my family. So to have this moment, this year, I'm loving it.
Yeah, there's nothing better than family trash talk rights. That's like the peak in all sports to be able to do that. And I know that you're a guy that knows what it's like to have some big, important games. And I want to hear what it's like as an athlete in the preparation leading up to and the day of a particularly important game. What's kind of going through some of these guys' minds right now?
Well, I think you're watching a lot of film. Kansas City with their high-power offense, and I'm a little nervous. They have a cheat code in Tyreek Hill. That kid is he's a cheat code. I'm scared of him. I'm nervous, but I'm sure these guys are doing an amazing job of every day just preparation, watching a lot of film, just really staying in that moment and getting their minds ready for this Super Bowl run. I mean, this is an incredible moment for these guys. Some being their first, Tom Brady being his 10th, so he knows what to expect, and I'm sure he's passing that down to a lot of these guys that are first timers, helping them calm their nerves. I can't wait, man. It's going to be very entertaining.
Well, the way you called him a cheat code, I feel like that's how a lot of people described you when you were playing. So do you feel like you now have a sense of like for other people to face you, a little bit of the sense of that nervousness and fear they felt?
Yeah. Hopefully, they felt that way. I bust my butt to put myself in those type of positions and be ready and have those moments. So, kudos to these guys that's in this situation, preparing for the Super Bowl. I mean, this is no easy task to make it to. You got to have a little bit of luck on your side, but I'm thrilled to be a Bucs fan and to be able to cheer my team on. I'm actually going to be in Tampa that weekend, not going to the game, but I will actually be there. So I'm excited about this opportunity for them.
That's awesome. And then we'll close with this. What advice would you have for guys who this might be their first year in the playoffs or first really crucial games in their NFL career? What advice would you have, having had such a long career yourself, and or maybe some of the things that you feel like you wish you'd known before some of those big games?
I'll say just really soak up this moment. These times of making it to this level, it's not guaranteed that you'll get there again. So I say take advantage of it. And, for those 60 minutes that you're going to be playing football, give it everything you have. Get everything you have. I mean, think about the reason why you played this game for the moment that you're about to be in on Sunday, and take full advantage of that.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we are so excited you are part of the Buccaneers fan family. We hope you enjoy your time in Tampa this weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Now you know him by his swag, those hats, and his willingness to risk it for a biscuit. Let's check in with your fearless leader, head coach Bruce Arians. Now that you guys have a full week of practice under your belt preparing for the game, did it feel similar or different to just a normal week of the season?
Yeah, last week felt like a normal week of the season. This week, with all the media attention and everything, so it'll be a little bit different. But we got a lot of work done, got our game plan in, 3 great practices, so I think we're ready.
Yeah, how did you make some of the decisions about how to prepare in terms of knowing it was 2 weeks, but then, like you said, knowing there's a lot more media obligations than in a normal week of the year?
Yeah, we took an extra day of rest last week before we started practicing, and took Wednesday off also, so the guys could get all the tickets and the hotel rooms, get everything set for their families before we came back. And once we got back in the building, it was all football. It's all about winning the game, and hopefully get through this weekend, not get the virus, and get ready to go again.
Yeah, and speaking of getting family set to go, how about you? Are you going to have some family at the game, I imagine?
Yeah, my mom's 95. I'm flying her in, and my brothers and my sisters, my kids, and nieces, nephews. So we got a bunch of Arians and Allens in the house.
Yeah, did I hear that maybe your mom is considered a bit of a good luck charm?
Oh, there's no doubt. We have not lost a Super Bowl. She was at.
So yeah, this is good. I'm glad to hear she's coming down. This is a good sign. How about just some other coaches or maybe some former players? Have people reached out to you since making it to the Super Bowl? And who are some of the people that you've been really excited to talk to since that?
Yeah, gosh, after the game in Green Bay, I think I had 875 texts and emails. And so, yeah, it was fun. Guys I coached back in '79, Marty McDowell, Dave Marler, guys, everywhere I've ever coached, guys reached out, you know. And that's what this business is really about, making those relationships and having times when they all come together. And it was really, really nice. And really, now it's over with. It's time to go to work.
So looking back at this season so far, why do you think this team had what it took to make the Super Bowl? What are the elements that are necessary for that kind of success?
I think it all starts with accountability with each other and to the cause. You know, our first meeting, we knew we had to beat the virus before we could beat another team. And our guys did a great job. We had a couple crazy cases, but overall we really got through it extremely well. And even in this times when you don't really get the camaraderie on the game, eating meals together, doing things together because of the pandemic, this team is extremely close. It reminds me a lot of the Super Bowl 40 team in Pittsburgh, where we took Jerome back home to Detroit. And these guys are extremely close. They care about each other. They're very accountable to each other.
And so for you, how would you say coaching in the Super Bowl is similar or different to another game? Are there things about how you go about it that will change, or do you try to keep it exactly consistent for how you approach every other game?
Everything's consistent, you know, the way we practice, the number of reps, all those type of things. The big difference is the week of the Super Bowl. This one isn't as quite of a distraction with all the media attention, but still guys have obligations to do in between meetings, in between practices that they normally wouldn't have to do.
What are the messages that you have had for the team about how to approach the game, especially to guys who have never been to a Super Bowl before? What are the things that you're really trying to convey to them in either meetings or out at practice or just any time that you're getting to talk with them, even in the hallway?
That's just another game. You know, we played this team. We gave them 17 points early and then came back and we're 3 points short. And we're good enough. We don't need any heroes. We don't need soft bubbles and tears. We're good enough. We just got to go play our best football.
And what have you seen some of the leaders on the team saying, or maybe how has the team gone about practicing, things you've noticed about the way that guys are approaching it this last week?
Yeah, great preparation. You know, the very, very few mental errors, very few penalties in practice, extremely high intensity practice, especially Saturday. Got me worried that we were going a little bit too fast, but it was extremely, extremely well practiced. And our guys are ready. They're ready for it.
And I know that we're wearing the same jerseys from these other playoff wins. Are you a superstitious kind of coach? I mean, we've seen some examples from fans where we heard there were some who weren't eating cheese the entire week before the Packers game. One of my coworkers' sons didn't wash his socks during the entire playoff run. Are you someone that has anything like that?
No, I actually wanted to wear all pewter. And league said we could not do it because it was an alternate uniform. So if we can't wear those, we're wearing the ones we won all our other games in.
That makes sense. And how about, can you over prepare for a game like this and maybe almost make things too complicated or outmaneuver yourselves? I mean, when you have 2 whole weeks to prepare, how do you know when to stop as coaches with the chess game?
Yeah, it's a matter of how many times can you rep plays. And if you do it in a normal week, then you got to really watch adding too much stuff. And because you'll keep watching film, and once the game plan's set, it's set. And so I think with us right now, we've got a really good plan on all three phases, and just go back and rep it again this week.
Knowing that clearly Tom Brady knows a thing or two about how to play in a Super Bowl, what does that do for you as a coach when you know that your quarterback has the level of experience that he has in this game?
Well, the game's not going to be too big for him. And I know it means a lot to him, but his practice habits are off the charts. So by the time we get to the game, it's old hat.
And then finally, what are you most looking forward to about the game? You're not allowed to say winning because we know that's obviously the answer. So other than that, now that you are about to play in this Super Bowl, what are the moments? What are the things that you're already most looking forward to or think you'll remember the most?
I always love the national anthem, and then we're having a great flyover, so I'm sure I have a tear in my eye, but just to get it started, can't get here fast enough.
I can imagine. I bet this 2 weeks has been some of the longest in your life. Well, thank you so much, Coach. As always, we really appreciate your time here with us. And of course, good luck in the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Casey, and thank all the fans.
Thank you so much to Bruce Arians and his entire staff for all their hard work this year, the way that Coach Arians promotes diversity, and for this incredible ride all the way to the Super Bowl. Now, to close things out, here's a message from the GOAT himself.
Hey Bucs fans, what an awesome season it's been. We're so proud of what we've accomplished thus far, but we're not done yet. We want to be the first team in history to not only play in a Super Bowl in our own stadium, but to win it. So we see your support all around Tampa Bay on social media, and it means the world to us. So keep doing your part, and we'll keep doing ours. So raise the flags, and let's go Bucs.
Thank you all for watching this Road to the Super Bowl presented by Ford. And of course, thank you for being the best fans on the planet. Now let's all raise the flags, enjoy the game, and go Bucs.
We actually get to see the all-time great against the heir to his throne.
First year, new team, new conference, putting them on their backs.
I'm going to bet against Brady? I don't think so. On ball, Gronkowski makes the catch. Perfect throw from Brady, and Godwin beat the defender. A post route.
What a move, a spin, and touchdown! He's got power, he's got size, he's got speed. His offensive line is healthier and playing better than Mahomes' offensive line.
He is the ultimate run stuffer.
He is sacked. He goes down, and JPP has a second.
And they create turnovers. They've been doing it all playoffs.
They're young, they're good, they're talented.
This is the perfect storm of getting everything right. They got the right player, they got the right pieces around it, they got the right coaching.
When you have that in your arsenal, you can pick and choose whether it's Harton, whether it's Tyreek Hill, or whether it's Travis Kelce.
We've got ourselves an incredible matchup.
To me, it's the best Super Bowl matchup ever. Do you want to change my mind?